Welcome to the show. And thanks for joining me this lovely Friday afternoon. There are days when the news is just like it's just rambunctious. It's got plenty of stuff going on, and days when the right wing has plenty of things to seize upon. For example, I don't know if you know this or if you saw it, but Biden spoke to Canadian Parliament today, gave a big fiery speech, and he ended with his whole America's the land of possibilities, and that's the one word that describes us, and I'm a big fan of that. I think it's very smart. And then he had a joint press conference with Trudeau afterwards, and they talked up a bunch of infrastructure projects and the fact that NORAD, works in conjunction with Canada. It's the only air defense system of its type in the world. Blah blah blah. But overall, it was a great. He joked about hockey. He had a great time. It was good. I have to say, and there was one point where he was like getting to his point about China, and he says, "Thank China for stepping up. I mean Canada for stepping off and up." And he goes, "You can tell where my brain is at about who we have a problem with or whatever." And then it was cute. They're just playing the part where he didn't catch himself and fix it on the news, but that's because the rest of the speech, and you know how I talk about how one of the reasons why I do Trump's whole speeches, and I won't be doing the one tomorrow night in Wacko because I've got a show at Flappers and a life. I will be there in time. There's a possibility I might, but no, it'd be my whole fucking night. I'll probably more than likely do it on Sunday, go through the whole thing. That would be the best because I'm gonna go into LA and then come back, and then I'm gonna go back in and go back in. But it's crazy this week, but. So I'll be home Sunday, and more than likely, like, I'll do an extra show Sunday afternoon, doing that whole fucking rally, because no one needs to ruin their Saturday night with that horse shit. But it's why it's one of the reasons why I do the whole thing is because the illusion around Trump, anyways, is that if you pick out a couple of the areas where he's a fuck up, the assumption is, but that's because the rest of it's amazing. You don't dare go near it. The opposite is true about people's assumptions about Biden stuff. If he gaffes once, everybody thinks it was an hour of just gibberish, and they don't bother to pay attention. So it's worth checking out. If you have time, watch his whole speech. It's pretty spectacular. I enjoyed it quite thoroughly. And but it's one of those moments where, they probably could day of go after that for, pick on that one thing or try to go, he's in Canada with all the Marxists, that kind of shit. But honest to God, they're too busy playing defense on a couple of fronts. One being that Trump himself is on the edge of being indicted and is basically calling for open war. Sorry, hold on one second. I'm going to try and find the Bragg story. For those of you who don't know, a death threat was sent to Alvin Bragg today, along with white powder, and it had a message with it that said, "I'm going to kill you, Alvin Bragg." There, it all caps, "Alvin, I'm going to kill you." Which, by the way, and look at all those exclamation points. I almost believe that was from Trump himself. Wouldn't that? I mean, talk about your Trump level twists. If you're gonna live up to your history as the master media manipulator you say you are, I mean, you'd need a big giant bullshit fail like wigging out yourself and mailing some of your dandruff to one of your enemies, and along with an all caps death threat. And by the way, thank you, Rallis, for the Chud support. Appreciate it. Paul Thanos as well. Thank you guys a ton. We had a lot of cat expenditures last month. That set our computer purchase. And by the way, my Mac that we were going to replace with the one we're going to get is dead. Yes, it died a sad death. It won't restart. It was very weird. I think it's actually what was causing the power outage, because behind this green screen where it sits, it was powering up and powering off and powering up and powering off, like trying to start itself. And that's what killed the power yesterday. It just, because trying to start all those hard drives and wind them up, and then they would collapse and then they would do it again, is what triggered it. So stupid. Anyways, thank you guys for your support. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Super Chat Twitch subscriptions, anything you can do to help us make this show a show. And we're going to make this show a show. And meanwhile, everybody's come to, this is over Bragg taking Trump to task over a payment to a porn star to keep quiet. It's just, it's par for the course. Plus, Trump did the old, let's see if I can find the, yeah, here it is. We'll go straight. This is his, page. Da-da-da. Joe Biden understands the reason NATO exists. Here's, this is from, the latest from Truth Social. Does Joe Biden understand that the reason NATO exists, loaded up with cash, is because President Donald Trump insisted that delinquent nations, which there were many, carry their own weight and pay their fair share? If not, I insist we will not protect them from the evil empire, in quotes. The money came pouring in after decades of non-payment and abuse. I haven't heard Joe say, thank you, President Trump, for the great job you did. Perhaps I'm just not listening. Yeah, he hasn't said that yet. I wouldn't hold your breath. Yikes. This is a coordinated Democrat effort to take out President Trump. Well, I mean, I would say a Democratic effort, because there's definitely, aren't there rhinos involved? Wouldn't this be small d democracy happening? Basically, everybody's voting fuck this guy with their, thank you, highly respected pollster John McLaughlin. Trump's surging poll numbers scares the left into desperation. I feel down. Do you feel desperate? I feel desperate. There's a desperation. Is that? No, it might be gas. I'm not sure. And Dershowitz, yeah, okay. Yeah, so he's pushing Dersh's book. Oh shit, is there a...
We set up an innovative and aggressive testing operation. It's pretty frequent. Well, we'll have 100,000 test results in a single day.
Do you think we're doing too much testing?
The more you test...
Did you see the edit on that? I mean, I'm not getting upset about this. This is Trump versus DeSantis, and we have that in a moment. This is a good lead-in.
The less restrictive some of these things are going to need to be.
Testing is a double-edged sword.
But man, if I could get more of those swabs, we could start running through people. 2 days yesterday, we reported 95,000 tests.
They test and they test. We got tests that people don't know what's going on.
And I've said this before. Hey,
I don't know who this is making fun of. This looks like a video that DeSantis would put out to make Trump look like an asshole.
If you're aged 25 to 35 and you may have had a sniffle, just come through.
We got another one over here. The young man's 10 years old. He's got the sniffles. He'll recover in about 15 minutes.
If I get the rapid tests to come in, they're going to be making 50,000 of those a day.
It could be the testing's frankly overrated. Maybe it is overrated.
We set up
that. I mean, that's not. By the way, can
He's got to get a little more busy.
I don't know.
He's got to get busier. That is the key.
Which one's Trump in this equation? I don't know why it jumps forward to that. I think this is just how Rumble works. Trump made that video. That's not usually you'll see a retweeted by Trump thing at the top of this thing. His people made that. They think that's a winner. And then anybody who goes after Alvin Bragg, and then he does this again, and then the Hodge. It's everybody who says who are we voting for. If Trump beats anybody else, then he posts it. So you guarantee yourself a slot under his name. It's a pretty easy way to promote yourself in Trump world. Where's the one where did he call for death and destruction? Oh, this is the Trump was right on TikTok. Yeah, in August of 2020 when he was mad about COVID. Okay, now that Ron DeSanctimonious is finally admitting he's in the race by beginning to fight back, and now that his polls have crashed, so he has no other choice, let me explain the facts. He is for Republican, an average governor. He got 1.2 million votes, less votes in Florida than me. He fought for massive cuts in Social Security break. Okay, there's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. How do you indict a person who hasn't done anything wrong and you know that person has done anything wrong? He's bobcatting right now. How do you indict anyone who hasn't done anything wrong when you know that person hasn't done anything wrong? I'm winning in the polls. That's why they're attacking me. Yeah, here it is. Isn't it terrible that D.A. Bragg refuses to do the right thing and call it a day? He would rather indict an innocent man. I am an innocent man. Yes, I am. And create years of hatred, chaos, and turmoil than give him his well-deserved freedom. When Donald was in New York's land, let my Donald go. The whole country sees what's going on, and they're not going to take it anymore. They've had enough. There was no error made, no misdemeanor, no crime, and above all, no case. They spied on my campaign, rigged the election, falsely impeached, cheated, and lied. They are human scum. This is some of you didn't think that after he'd been elected president, he wouldn't become he wouldn't become more presidential. And I hope you're enjoying your crow right now. Total disarray in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Tremendous dissension and chaos because they have no case. And many of the honest people in the office know it and want to do the right thing. They think back to the late, great Bob Markenthal, the best ever, and know that he would have done justice for all. Mark Levin show how many times they've gone after this man, Donald Trump. Why are they studying his life like they're studying an archaeological site? We'll get to Mark Levin in a little bit, too. Golka. Yeah, and then where's the one he was like, okay, official statement by Stormy Daniels. To the overpass, we have been asked countless times to comment on reports of alleged sexual relations. This is 2018. Fact of the matter is, in each party is alleged affair denied its existence 2006, 2011. I am not denying this affair because I was paid hush money. As reported, I have no further comment on this matter. Please, I have been asked countless times to comment on reports of an alleged sexual I had with Donald Trump many, many, many years ago. The fact of the matter is that each party to this alleged affair denied its existence in 2006, 2011. She went into the future and denied this. Dear God, please tell me we have food replicators then, and we live forever. 2016, 17, and now again in 2018. I'm not denying this affair because I was paid hush money. As I wrote, I'm denying this affair because it never happened. I'll have no further. Turns out, wasn't the case. That it was the case. Right, you know what I mean. Former New York DA, blah, 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 super sad. Oh, this is the praying picture. That, like, his folks are going nuts. Like, if you go to any AI server right now, maggots are all over the fucking place. Let's see, this is going to brag horse face agenda, blah, blah, blah. Worst attorney general now to say Fani Willis, perfect phone calls. No, America does nothing about it. Why won't they leave me alone? Okay. Oh, here it is. Look at all this all cap shit. Can you imagine the great New York City Police Department, correctly referred to as New York City Police, for the first time in history endorsed the president, me, honored me as man the aim to defend and protect the defenders and cop haters of the radical left who want to put their greatest champion and friend in prison for a crime that doesn't exist, and all the while source back day allows murderers and violent criminals to freely roam the sidewalks of New York. Take two. So needless to say, Trump's having a bit of a rough one right now, and his followers are doing the wig out